And welcome folks. So as you can see, I'm testing out the HOVERAir X1, which is a flying action camera. I'd like to thank Global One Click for sending me this camera and allowing me to make this video. So what exactly is the HOVERAir X1? This is a fully autonomous flying selfie camera. It unfolds to reveal 4 brushless motors encased in a lightweight cage that protects the propellers and the people around you. The camera is a 35mm equivalent focal length NF2.4 aperture with a 90-degree field of view. It uses a single axis gimbal in combination with electronic stabilization to steady your footage, and it weighs 125 grams. The battery lasts up to about 11 minutes and the package includes 2 batteries and a charger, which will take around 35 minutes to charge one battery. It's designed to be simple to use and carry, and the fold-up props make it relatively pocket-sized. There's no remote needed to fly or GPS signal for it to take off. You just set your pre-programmed flight modes and it'll do the rest for you. The ease of use is what makes this thing so good. The HOVERAir X1 uses a combination of cameras and lasers to work out where it is and person recognition to get a lock on a subject.
Current mode, hover.
The unit itself, it's got 2 buttons, one for power and launch and the other one is for switching between modes.
Zoom out. Follow. Orbit. Bird eye. Custom. Dolly track.
Now these can be adjusted somewhat on the machine itself, but if you go into the app you can make lots more adjustments. The device will speak to you to confirm what you've selected and away it will go. Now you don't need to use the app to fly it other than connecting it and changing settings. Although there is a drone mode which you can manually fly using your phone as a controller. In terms of video footage, its maximum resolution is only 2.5K at 30 frames per second. However, I've found the footage to be pretty good overall, and for my purposes it's been ideal. The clips from each mode are preset length with the exception of follow, dolly and obviously drone mode, which can be continuous recording. I found that these preset modes just sprinkle a little bit in here and there and it can just elevate an ordinary video into something really cinematic. So a quick look at the app then. This is the app here. When you open it up you've got home where you can share and look at other people's stuff. You've got the hover thing, so tap there to connect your device and then just press connect. Right, and that's that. So now you've got hover settings and the hover album, so any footage you take is found in here, and then you've got modes. Now the modes are so simple. This is hover, just click on it, take a look and it will load up a quick preview, a few tips and then a video of it in action, and then more detailed settings in here. So shooting mode is video, duration's continuous, target tracking on. So this means if you are hovering in one place, if you toggle that off, then the camera will stay exactly where it is and you can walk in and out of frame as and when you please. Or if you toggle it on, it will try and keep you centered. So as you move, it'll turn with you. So that's really cool. You've also got vertical mode on all of these options for portrait filming rather than landscape. So that's the settings on hover mode, and then all these other modes here, they've all got their own thing. So zoom out, we'll take a look at zoom out, check the settings. So distance, this is how far it will zoom away from you and then back, either 1.5, 3, 6 or 9 meters. Altitude, so you can have it flat, you can have it so it zooms and lowers, or you can have it so it zooms and rises. Follow is what it is, it just will follow you about. Orbit, let's take a look at orbit. Go to the settings, so same thing. The distance you want it to be away from you, so anywhere from 1.5 meters to a 6 meter orbit. Angle 360, so that means it'll do one loop and stop, or you can have it 1080, meaning it'll do 3 rotations around you, so that's really cool. And again, altitude, so it's orbiting around you. You can have it lowering, flat or rising. So bird's eye, that bird's eye is the rocket one, straight up. So you can have it rotating as it goes, slow, normal, fast, or none. This one's a little bit higher, so you can go up to 15 meters height or as low as 5 meters. Now those are what they call basic flight modes, and then you've got skilled. So the manual control, snapshot, which is essentially you strike a pose and it will take a photo. Dolly track, that is my favourite. Dolly track essentially will just track you, so if you walk towards it, it'll back off. That's a really, really cool thing. You've got to be a bit careful. Dolly track is in the skilled mode because obviously there's no collision sensor on this, so if you back it up into a tree or a wall or something, you know, it's liable to crash. Distance, you can have it close, standard or far. And then again, altitude, high, flat or low. Loads and loads of customizable options within each of these flight modes. And this app has worked really well so far. Now and again it just gets a little bit stuck and I just shut it down and then reopen it and everything is fine. But yeah, it's a really cool, usable app. I've been really impressed with it. They put a lot of work into this. So again, you know, simplicity. That's what this camera seems to be about. You know, ease of use. Anyone can fly this. So simple. You know, these nice pictograms tell you at a glance exactly what it's going to do, and then you just go into them and you can adjust them to suit your needs. I think it's a really well thought out app. Now, sound wise, we haven't really covered that. Yeah, it can record sound. It uses your phone's speaker, and you can get a little Bluetooth speaker, clip it under your collar. As long as the app's open, it'll record sound. There is a toggle in the app to turn it off and on. It will record sound without the noise of the propellers. There's some sort of sound cancelling software in there that removes the sound of the propellers, so you just get you speaking. There's a little clip here, look.
This is my new hovering camera. Are my lips synced? Can you see it? Can you see it in the mirror? How cool is that?
The sound to me sounds a little bit weird, a little bit artificial, I guess because of all that clever noise cancelling. But you know, I think they're on the right path with it. I think it's a great idea. Obstacle avoidance. I can't find any information on obstacle avoidance, but you know, it is possible to crash this because I've crashed it quite a few times, but it's fairly robust. The propellers are in the little cage thing. Where I've crashed it is I've been trying to deliberately crash it, you know, running in and out of trees, and it's just clipped little twigs and it's got a bit confused, but then it's found me again and carried on. So, you know, it's only hit the floor once or twice. That's when I, you know, backed it into something and it really hit it and, you know, came a cropper. So in terms of obstacle avoidance, I'd say, you know, the results are a little bit mixed, but it's small, light and tough enough that if it does kind of hit something and drop on the ground, it's fine. You just pick it up and carry on. And then limitations, you know, there are limitations to this thing. I found it doesn't cope well with speed changes. Filmed my son at the skate park, and you know, if he's flying along at a certain speed, it follows him really well, but the minute he hits a jump and he sort of dips and goes up and slows down, the camera sort of overshoots him a little bit. So in terms of the kind of speed changes and height differences and things, it did struggle a little bit at times, but that being said, I used it on my bike and I was going quite fast and it coped really well with that. I think it would cope quite well with sort of skiing and that sort of thing, sort of straight line stuff. If there's lots of twists and turns, then it will just overshoot a little bit and it will correct itself, but maybe you might miss that key thing. I guess it's limited as well by its battery life being 11 minutes, call it 10 minutes. But you know, that's not enough to go out and shoot an entire video with it. But I say it's enough to get really cool clips, and I think that is its key strength. It's not so much something you're going to go and vlog with, because that's not what it's designed for. But you know, you can get some awesome little clips that can be put in with other stuff. or if you're making shorts and things like that, you know, 30-second clips, you can get some really cool stuff with it. Wind, it can only take a certain amount of wind. It's a little thing, it's light, so it will get blown about. The electronic stabilization does a really good job, but there will be a limit to it. You know, I don't think you can be out in a hurricane with it. But I've been out and it's been reasonably windy, and the machine's, you know, buzzed about a little bit, but the footage is pretty steady. So, you know, I think there is a line where it'll be too much for it, but on the whole, it's done okay in the wind. It doesn't like the water. It's not waterproof, so you can't be flying it in the rain and stuff. I mean, I'm in here doing this because for the next week in my country it's drizzly and wet, so I've been unable to get out with it today. But I've spent the last few weeks just picking up bits of footage while the weather was good. You can't fly it over water because the lasers that recognise the ground, I don't think they can recognise water very well. So I would avoid flying over water with it, and I think the manufacturers even say that in their blurb. And on a similar subject, you know, it doesn't like low light because it needs the light to be able to recognise the ground, but also the camera degrades. Once it gets dusky and, you know, nearly into the evening, the quality of the footage does drop quite considerably. You know, on a nice bright day, I think the footage looks glorious. But once you start the sunset and it's getting a bit dark, then it's almost not worth bothering. And in terms of safety of the device, they don't recommend that you take it off next to any dramatic elevation changes. So if you're on the edge of a cliff, you know, because the laser is looking at the ground and keeping that distance from the ground, if it moves over the cliff, the ground's gone, so it will just drop down. So I think, you know, there is a risk of losing it if you were trying to fly it next to a cliff edge or a sharp drop off. But that being said, you know, a steady drop off. I took it up quite a steep hill and down again and up again, and it stayed with me the whole time. So, you know, gradient I think is fine, but sheer drops are probably to be avoided. That goes to, the same goes for, you know, edge of buildings and things like that. You know, the common sense rules apply, I think. So that's about it from me. That's my look at the HOVERair X1, and yeah, small, light, portable, a hell of a lot of fun, I tell you. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. The company have offered me a discount code to put in the video description for those of you that are taken with this little thing, and yeah, I count myself as one of them. I love it. It's so much fun. Like I say, you know, you can crash it, and I have crashed it, but it seems to just bounce back. It's such a cool little thing, and I can't wait to put some of the footage in a standard, you know, camp life bushcraft video, because I think it will just add that little something to give a bit more realism and a bit more sort of cinematic feel to some of the videos I do. So yes, link in the description, discount code in the description. That is the HOVERair X1, and awesome little thing, truly awesome. Thank you very much. See you soon.